Okay, we will now come back into session. The time is 8:43. We move on to item 9, action on items discussed in executive session. So I'll just need a motion for new hire.
I'll make a motion for the new hire.
Motion made by Jimmy.
Second.
Seconded by Sheila. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Okay, and then item 10, consideration and possible action regarding whether to choose an elementary site plan alternative presented by Park Hill or submit a comprehensive plan amendment to the City of Paris in reference to the master thoroughfare plan map. Can I pick it up? I have.
Did you say 8:42? 8:43.
Good evening, President, Board of Trustees, Superintendent Stewart. My name is Hector Santiago. I'm a firm principal, Park Hill Architects and Engineers. And obviously, you've heard some of the discussion earlier about the site, but I did want to indicate that obviously when we found out about this, my first reaction was, okay, let's find a solution. I mean, that's what we're trained to do. We're problem solvers, so we try to find solutions. So that is what we started investigating and looking into. And so tonight, we did want to just go over your options and be more than willing to answer any questions you may have or ask any pros or cons with any of them. Can do that definitely tonight. So the agenda that I have is obviously present option A, option B, and then obviously also indicate the amendment application option as well. And then just so that you can have a little bit of update, want to go ahead and update you on the overall elementary school design process and some updated renderings that we have for you. When we first learned of the collector road, my first reaction was to try and think of something that would be the least impactful to the design process. And so we started looking into, having a road that pretty much aligned at the beginning of the road, access road that we had designed from the intersection. So just to be clear, this is the road that we had designed throughout the campus, access road from the church, because that's actually part of your agreement when you all bought the property, that you have to provide them access so that they can come down, you can go to the intersection. And then obviously we have our bus drop off, parent drop off, and then a loop around it for fire apparatus access. We have left some space in here for possible future expansion of maybe neighborhood learning a grade level. So when we learned about the collector road, we went ahead and proposed this possibility, but then we did get some input from the district that definitely would not work because of safety concerns, specifically with bus traffic. You have 21 buses that would be crossing this collector road. So obviously we nixed that option in our minds right away and started looking at other things that we could possibly do. And this is option B. Now option B, as you can see, that the building is rotated. One of the things that Kelly did ask us to look into is, we had maximized the design for daylighting. And we had actually studied a 30-degree angle when we were doing that as well. So there is minuscule difference with daylighting. Maximizing daylighting when we do rotate the building. So, one of the first things we wanted to go ahead and do is find out from the city. My purpose is to provide options. You decide. So, want to make sure that when we did this, that this collector road design did work with the City of Paris standards. And it does meet their radii standards, and so we did get the indication that was okay with them. And so with this design, what we did differently from our original design is move the bus drop-off to be on the back of the school, and then the possible future expansion could be on the south end of the school at this location. This is where the bus drop-off was on the other design, and it's now here. So potentially you can have buses come in, loop around, and go back out, or depending on the traffic layout. But this is how we saw this possibility happening. And then when parents are come in through this access road, parents walk all this way and all this way, and they can potentially come out and go back out this way. There's obviously it's rotated, and it's a little bit further southeast than our previous design, but it's a viable option that you can consider. Again, Collector Road was something that came up, and our job is to find a solution, and this is one of the things. So, anybody have any questions regarding any of this right now?
So the back black line, that's your property line, way back, going back right there.
Yeah, this is the property line right
Yeah,
here.
okay, and then on the east end, that's our property line.
Correct.
To keep the original plan, you can't turn it back, would it be more easterly, westerly direction?
Let's put it over east.
We could potentially do that. The only thing is that there's more of a drainage pattern that's happening along this way, so we're actually trying to stay away from that.
I'm just trying to ease that front a little bit further back from that collector road.
Yeah, that is definitely
How much
one
land
thing.
is in that north parking lot to where the road's going to be?
I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly how much, but we estimate, over here?
Right there in the middle,
Right.
in the middle section lane.
Right here? I would say maybe about
5 acres.
4.5, maybe 5 acres. Because this property is about 5 acres, I believe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And where's the drainage? The drainage is right there, where that's that low spot there?
Yeah, that's the main reason why we went ahead and redesigned and put the bus drop-off close to the school and away from this drainage pattern that you see, and then future expansion would be here versus over here.
Okay, where would you come when the water is, where would the main sewer go out at in the water?
We envision that, in the street would be here, and then we would connect to the street. Originally, when we have it the other way, we anticipated going all the way to 271.
Actually, right now, where you got it set, you're saying the buses will come in and go out. It works fine, but if you ever were to build another building right in there, is that going to interfere with the possible bus traffic then? Because that's what's gotten us in trouble out here with our picking up and letting off and everything is got so congested. And I didn't know whether will there be more parking lot for faculty if you were to.
We envision you can have more parking at this location. Actually, we had indicated it, but on the final design, it got left off. But we could have more parking here, and we're fine with being able to expand into this area with one grade. This is one grade level, another grade level, another grade level, another grade. So let's say like second, third, fourth, fifth. So one of those does fit here, fine, and there would be no issues.
Where are the power lines at?
The fire line?
Power lines.
Power lines are over here following this.
Okay, so okay, I see.
Yeah, we stayed away from them. You can have roads obviously crossing.
Right.
But the building, we did make sure we stayed away from this. Okay, and then would you like me to go ahead and go to the next option? All right then. So obviously, option C is to go ahead and apply for an amendment, which our civil engineer thought of the possibility of, instead of going through the site, rerouting that collector road to connect with the arterial road that it's planned for the, part of the thoroughfare master plan. With this, obviously, there's application and process. Application is $200, and that's pretty much it. And it would be, I would say, at least 2 months, but could potentially be more because it goes through City Plan Commission, and then it has to go to City Council for approval. And there's no guarantees whether it's approved or denied. And nobody here can tell you whether they will or they won't. It's just, that is something that you need to know. Any questions?
Okay.
What that option B?
Okay. If you'd like, I can go ahead and just give you a general update on the school. In October, what you have, part of your bond update, we were finishing up the design development phase, which actually we did turn that in October 28th. And one of the things, obviously, that we're doing, you already got an update as far as field surveying work going on, and then as far as geotechnical and site clearing, in order to be able to get a geotechnical rig into the site that we can use for clearing. Obviously, we're on hold because depending on your decision, the geotechnical borings would be a original location or at the new location of the school if option B is chosen. Obviously, we've been on track, on schedule, but if the board were to pursue option C, then I think it behooves us to stop progressing on the design until that's settled in order to know where the school is going, the school building itself would go. So that's one of the cons that, obviously with what Michael indicated, the volatility of the market and escalation keep rising. You may not want, that's something you need to consider. So.
I had a question about your, before you get too far into this, with your option B proposal. My question was, you alluded to some concession that you considered when you rotated the school 30 degrees. You considered the sunlight that was coming in the daylight time. Were there any other things with this option that you feel like you were conceding on your design that stepped you away from the goals that you were trying to meet?
Actually, I can tell you no. There's nothing conceding. Actually, the daylighting, it was minuscule, the difference, and I personally like how, as you're entering the site, that you're looking into the main entry feature a little bit more directly as people are driving.
So from a design standpoint, you don't feel like there's any compromises in this design versus your original design?
No, sir.
Any other questions? Okay, so I think at this time we're going to reconvene back into an executive session. Time showing 8:57.